going on, everybody? It's your pal Spaz Phoenix, the YWC reality check. This is the state of wrestling, and that is Jake fucking DeMarco. What's going on, buddy?
Whoa, did somebody say Toronto?
Yo, we clutched up in Toronto.
Oh, what's going on?
You said Toronto, and I said...
I
need to get more sounds. I have like 6 sounds, and I can actually hear my sounds as opposed to yours.
Yeah.
What's going on, buddy? You good? You good?
We're alive and kicking. It has been at least a very interesting wrestling week. TNA was the highlight of the weekend for me.
Indeed.
And I sound like such a hater of AEW, and I'm not, but Wrestle Dream is not biting whatsoever. And I remember going into last year's Wrestle Dream still somewhat on a high from how well the certain aspects, I should say, of Swerve's title run went, and then giving Brian the belt. It was a great moment that he really enjoyed. So there was like something momentous behind some of their decisions, and it was someone understood. And then the way they took out Brian with a freaking plastic bag.
Yeah. Oh, the plastic bag.
And then from
and now
there,
he's on commentary.
Yeah, and since then it's just been
Molotov cocktails for everybody.
It's been ridiculous. Thing, right? A year of the Death Riders, and here's to you assholes.
Here's the credit, right? Like that I'll give, and it's few and far between. I was at a show, and my excitement was right about where we are now. I think it's fair to say, up until maybe the past year or so, that AEW mimicked old like early days NXT, where like the week-to-week show was kind of missable, but like make sure you tune in for that takeover.
Oh, sweet dear child, that was even more so before NXT. That was Ring of Honor in a nutshell. The weeklies, when they did have them with this, exactly. But what I'm saying is, before NXT, there was ROH, and they did that exponentially well. They would push the pay-per-views so hard and heavy because they knew no one gave a shit about their weekly programming, especially when Sinclair picked them up and wanted to turn them into a television product. No one gave a damn because they knew on the pay-per-views there was no limits. They could swear, they could do all the crazy shit, they could bleed, they could blade, they could hunt, they could fuck, they could suck, they could do it. But on the weekly show, it was on some type of
there's a way to, but there's a way to exist like that as well. Like the other thing, I won't speak to ROH because I didn't watch ROH back then, but I do remember NXT, and I do remember when it wasn't live, and they taped in blocks, kind of like TNA does now. And the minute those tapings happened, I knew what was happening on like the next 4 episodes or whatever. It was like, oh, that's gonna happen, and that's gonna happen, and that's gonna happen, and I knew like, you know, there's not much happening this week, but I'm going to get to see this next week, and I'm going to get to see this thing happen. It didn't matter how we
got there, just that we got there. And your point is absolutely valid. I just wanted to be that smart-ass, wise Alec fan before someone in the comments could be like, but you forgot ROH did it for... And technically, TNA
Hey, I'll throw my hands up in the air and say I didn't watch it.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I was just being a wise ass. But you're right about that, because NXT... There was fun stuff
and TNA was the same thing as well. I never saw the initial days of TNA until somebody said to me, hey, you should check this out. I'm like, why? They're like, because you like Jeff Hardy, right? I'm like, yes, I like Jeff Hardy. It's a little bit obvious. What if I told you Jeff Hardy and Jeff Jarrett in a ladder match, except the ring has 6 sides? And I'm like, you had my interest. Now you have my curiosity.
You have piqued me, sir. Piqued me good.
Peaked pause. But like what I'm saying is, though, like going back to like what I am familiar with is those early days of NXT. No, you wouldn't necessarily say it was appointment viewing for the weekly shows. But if you want to say like this is just to get us here, and then the pay-per-views get you over the hump, like a brand or a company, or there we go. Like you can function like that, but like even from a morbid curiosity point of view, and the fact that I was going to actually be there, I was going into All Out, and I'm like, okay, at least I'm going to have some fun with this. Like,
and did you say there you go, or time for a Cheerio?
The funniest, well, you've got your vodka Cheerios going on.
I'm going to break you.
The funniest thing, and I will say that, and I want to be clear about this, every company does it. WWE has done it, TNA has done it, NXT has done it, AEW has done it. Every company has piped in noise at some point, right?
Yes.
But where I was in the Scotiabank Arena, I was right near a speaker, and the piped in crowd noise, like track, was skipping. And I'm just like, oh. But
that's
anyways,
bad.
anyways, all this to say, they have succeeded. Yeah, thanks. They have succeeded for a long time now on, sure, Dynamite wasn't that great. Sure, nobody really thinks Collision's a thing anymore until they tack it on to the end of a Dynamite. But like when you get to the pay-per-view is going to deliver.
Yes, absolutely.
Maybe it won't deliver something that I'm necessarily into, but the people that are really into the Bucks are going to get their Buck stuff.
Yeah, no matter the company, the pay-per-views have been set up, PLEs, whatever you want to call them, they have been set to deliver more than the weeklies. Every company has that mindset. And that's one of the things I miss about the Attitude Era.
I'm already more interested to see what else gets thrown on the Saturday night's main event with John Cena's last match on it than I am about this quote-unquote pay-per-view that's happening this weekend.
I know, because that last show, it's insane how many people were in the queue for just tickets. 60,000 plus waiting in line in the special queue for tickets that they crashed the site.
It's in a regular arena, isn't it?
Yeah, and now they went ahead and not only did they crash the site, but people couldn't get tickets because they went to scalpers. This whole thing was just the Ticketmaster prices skyrocketed. Let me go ahead.
It really does show you though, we have to be realistic about this, right? We all, as wrestling fans, depending on how long you've been watching WWE, we went through a whole period of time where we couldn't stand John Cena.
So here's
it wasn't all his fault. No, but what I'm saying is it was an AEW thing, and then it kind of got adopted by Cody himself. The whole undeniable thing. It is one of those things where everybody's kind of warmed up to Cena. Okay, congrats, you kind of trudged through a really shitty heel run, and now we're back. I don't think there's very many other people, even some of our favorites, that are going to have people queuing up in the 60,000 range.
But here's the thing:
for a Saturday night's main event,
for an event that only holds 20,000 at capacity. That's the problem. They're at the Capital One Arena. They should have known that people are going to want to see his final match in droves. They should have had it. I wish they could move it to somewhere bigger, but he wants to do it in DC. The cheapest ticket that initially was $200 is now going for $850.
I've seen, and
There's
I don't know.
4 times markup on the resellers market to the point where it broke the resellers market.
Nice.
And they're expecting to have a match with Brock Lesnar on this show as well, supposedly, if you believe the rumor mill. It'll be after Survivor Series, so he's supposed to be involved in that.
I have
heard a rumor that
they're actually considering looking for a second venue to put it on the Tron and see if they can fill a second venue. And I'm like,
why would you pay for that? I can understand, if it's not around you and you want to go and be social, but to have it the next building over, come on.
You go back in the day, you can see old footage of hey, there's a pay-per-view and there's a bunch of people in the Toronto Maple Leaf Gardens or whatever watching it on a giant Tron, but they don't really do that anymore. But
that was the only way for a lot of people to be able to watch it at all.
Exactly. Well, exactly. That's the thing. The plethora of other options wasn't there either. But if they somehow do it, and if they somehow do it successfully, maybe have a couple of other roster members there to do some dark matches in between what they see on screen, or put something together a cheap seats type of idea. I'd be interested to see if they can pull it off, but I don't.
But Spaz, when this article came out here on Bleacher Report, they said the cheapest tickets are $200 on the secondary market. When I just checked, they're $850. Everything has a minimum of ×4 for the cost of the tickets now.
Yeah, but they're not gonna get away with charging $200 a ticket to sit in a different building and watch it on a screen.
Oh, no. I'm not saying that. I'm saying
that's
just the regular tickets.
That's what I was going for.
No, I said your point.
The tickets are
people
stupid.
Do it, but I'm just saying, when this article was written for 3 hours ago, it's already gone up 4 times as much, is my point. So now, what is it going to be by tomorrow? And the sad part is they're saying out of the 20,000 seats, they're expecting 12,000 or so went to scalpers or resellers.
Well, that's pretty shit, but
so they're not trying to admit that, obviously, but from what I'm seeing, because they were polling people coming out of it, they said Capital One Arena can only hold 20,000 people. They had 60,000 alone waiting in the pre-sale queue. Pre-sale, not even open to the public.
They could have done it somewhere bigger.
They should have done it in the fucking Naval Yard and taken out all the stealth bombers and filled up 3 million people, I guess, by the way this is selling.
They're gonna drop a bomb. It's gonna be fantastic.
What is love?
No, but it is insane. Put the oh my God, it's Saturday night's main event. It's not a pay-per-view, blah, blah, blah. Put that aside. Oh my God, tickets are stupidly expensive. Okay, tickets are stupidly expensive for everything. Put that aside. That is a hell of an outpouring for somebody's last match. And that's, like, I want to go the mushy side for a second. Like, good for John Cena.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, no, my point being of going into not necessarily this week's Dynamite, because this week's Dynamite was not good for anybody. Look, what are we doing?
Exactly.
And Canada didn't get to see the last hour of it.
And I'm telling you what, you guys were better off for it. And I'm not being, as I said before, like strictly hyperbolic or vitriolic. This is legitimate. What they gave us was pure filler. There was nothing of substance at all whatsoever on that third hour. It was ridiculous.
They backwards build their extended show. And I know they're trying to treat it like, okay, this is Dynamite. Stick around for Collision if you want. They used to do it with Rampage, when Rampage was always a 1 hour show. And it kind of made it wasn't good by any stretch of the imagination for retention, but I'm not giving them business tips. Like they always backwards build it. But I just thought, like, as far as like communicating to your audience, even that just want to see the show, it cut off after 2 hours, and it went to like for us up here on TSN, it went to like basketball highlights or some shit.
Yeah, and that's a huge
our
problem.
good friends over at the Wrestling for Life Network, I was watching their live stream because it's the only way I get through an episode of Dynamite. I'm not even going to sugarcoat that. But like, obviously, like Nick's in the States, KJ's in Canada, and he's like, I've got basketball highlights. What are we doing?
Well, here's the thing I want to get over though. Where was it? So I'm trying to see where we left off because it was all 3 hours, but I was confused as to what went into where. It was basically the Acclaim bickering backstage, and then it kind of worked backwards into the third and final hour, where it was Jack Perry kind of talking to the Young Bucks. We saw that, but the rest of it.
I remember something was wrapping up, and they were throwing the commercial break, and it was like, "Stay tuned for Collision." I'm like, "It's the same show. What are we doing?"
Yeah. So
do you know what else I found out?
What's
and
that?
This was weird for me to hear about, like, online while I was going to the show. They're doing the same thing they did with All Out, as far as flick onto one channel, you're going to see like the kickoff with all the highlights and the interviews and the preview packages. Flip onto a different channel, you're going to see the kickoff matches.
Yeah, and
they're competing against themselves again.
You had Brodito, Mark Briscoe taking on Kyle Fletcher, Lance Archer, Rocky Romero. So you got them all from the Don Callis family, right? You know, the former.
Oh my Christ!
And then they celebrated Don's birthday after they lost, though. But Eddie Kingston and Hook are going into the tag division, so anybody can come get some in the pre-show. They had the Acclaimed fighting, refusing to team up. And they had GOA and Hurt Syndicate, I guess. And then, you know, that was earlier on. So they did recaps of it. And they did something else quickly. And I was like, this feels like just filler. Like, what happened? This doesn't make any sense.
3 hour show, just say that it's a 3 hour show so that they can say, look how big this show was.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can do, like, here's the thing. Not that I want to be like going in and sticking my hands in the mud and trying to fix their show. Take everything they had on that show, rearrange it a little bit, because filler has its place.
Yeah.
And you could still arrange an okay show if anybody gave a fuck about the matches. Here's my point, though, is I'll dunk on AEW all day. I'm a dickhead. People know where I stand with them. I'm not voting for them to fail, but when they do fail, I'm not going to feel bad about it. It's a different thing when I talk to somebody like yourself, watch the guys, like I say, over at Wrestling for Life. Shout out to them. Always go check them out. They are way more positive than I am.
Well, here's the thing, too. They had Megan Bain cut a promo on Willow with FTR, and it was horrific. And I'm not just being nasty here. It was bad. Spaz, it was real bad. And she's trying to speak up about, you know, I could hurt anybody and how bad I can hurt Willow. Look what I did to Harley kind of thing. And then Jet Speed and the rest of the failures are on the big screen. And they basically call everybody out.
And Darby and Mox are in prison for reasons.
And they're like, we're not scared of you, even though they were up on the big screen. And then they had the match. Okay, so they do come out, and Megan Bain beat Harley Cameron. So it was like all for nothing. We saw Eddie cut a promo, the Acclaimed, as I said, and then Brodito and Mark Briscoe defeated the Don Callis family, but they still celebrated fucking his birthday. So it was like the biggest waste of nothing of the third hour. There you go. -5 stars.
There we go. Where I'm coming around to is I'm a dickhead. you're less of a dickhead. We, collaborate, third, fourth party with like other people out there that are way less dickheads than us. And there are people out there that are still under the illusion that AEW is good. It's great.
Well, Roosh
all those
dislocated his elbow, so they don't know how long he'll be out for. So,
well, how's Ibushi's leg doing?
He'll be out for 2 years with reports. I'm going to talk about that live tonight. It's going to be crazy because
go check out Jake when you're done with us.
Thank you, sir. That was not an intended cheap plug, but instead, because I'm just baffled by how horrific of an injury this was by such a simple-looking botch. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't look like... You've seen so many things go so much worse and people walking away unscathed. And it was a bad fall, but it wasn't like he lost all control. It's just the way he landed. His leg exploded internally. The bone was ready to rip out of the skin. Like, it was bad.
Yeah.
That's the strongest bone in your body, and that broke in straight 3.
But like, where I'm trying to get to, and I'm really rambling to get there, right? I don't like AEW for the most part. They have some wrestlers that I like, and people that I interact with their content. I end up watching their content. Some of it ends up being all right. Occasionally you get like an Osprey match or a Darby match or an Omega match or something that'll catch my attention, right? And FTR when they decide to be on point, right?
When they give a damn.
But like there's that part of me, like when I decide not to be a dickhead, where it's like, okay, the Bucks aren't for me, understatement of the century, but they are for somebody.
Yeah.
And there is that, like, every now and then kick back, don't be a dickhead. Okay, that's for that guy. And
but why
that guy
are they broke again? They need to go for $500,000 again?
Well, this is okay. The whole story is stupid, right? But it's one of those, like, at the very least, when you're scraping the bottom of the barrel, it's like, I see that guy over there, and that's his thing, and he enjoys that thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
The people out there that are the most staunch advocates for AEW came with claws out after last night's Dynamite. Friggin' certain somebody on What Culture, I was like, oh, he's going to try and defend all this shit. And even he was like, no, this is bad. This is wrong. This is what. Now, keep in mind,
wow,
24 hours prior, this guy was ranting on NXT,
going nuts.
Upset that people were happy to see the Hardys, and verbatim, word for word, stop popping. There's something wrong with your brain if you like NXT.
Yeah.
24 hours later.
I saw that on
24
Twitter.
hours later, his own favorite show takes a shit in his lap. It's good.
It's true though. I mean, they took a gigantic one right in there. And you know why? Because they're focused on, again, the wrong subsect of fans. They're pleasing the vocal minority, not the actual majority. Like when you see WWE fans mad online, even WWE knows, like, yeah, they're loud and they can get some steam momentum going for like a steamroll, but it's very rare that the IWC really influences change unless it's coming.
Okay. We'll pretend to bring our truth back for a week and that'll shut them up.
That's my point though. Like there's rarely like something truly done by our loudmouths. As where AEW is molded and shaped by the criticisms online, whatever comes about. Tony's like, no, we're not giving enough women's matches. Well, their women's match went on for like, I think 30 minutes this week, but it was so drab and just boring. It doesn't help the division if you're putting on shit. You want good matches for that, extra length of time. And so it always misses the mark. And sadly.
And then they take somebody that I like Chris Statlander. I really like Chris Statlander. I'd like to see her doing something a little bit more, but she's out there in the back trying to keep up with the like super cinematic gimmick that Toni Storm has, and she's talking about being out there in the ass kicking galaxy.
And she's a crazy lesbian now too. Like everybody that encounters Toni needs to suck on vag to get somewhere. I don't quite get like the infatuation angle between these two. Like, oh, let's fuck. Wait, we're gonna wrestle. We're gonna
lie down in the ring and touch each other. There's other channels for that.
I love lesbians.
Oh, Cater Taker. How you doing, buddy?
Good. I agree with that. Michelle doesn't let me watch porn. Oh, Taker. That's sad, actually. You should go to couples therapy. Brutal.
No. Oh no. But while we're having this totally unbiased conversation about AEW,
totally.
Let's talk about what wasn't a headline for me, at least. It wasn't at the top of my notes 24 hours ago, but man, when I woke up this morning,
things shifted.
Could AEW possibly be participating in contract tampering? Now let me run this down because I'm pulling things down from all kinds of different like news areas. So I'm going to try and
get the aggregate.
Yeah, I'm going to roughly piece together how I understood, right?
Should hire my time traveling lawyer. He's great.
Indeed. But isn't he still fighting with Cody? Shout out to Cody, by the way.
And he's actually defending him too right now. Somebody's trying to get him fired. Well, it's a hell of a mystery.
We know what he's up to. He's in HR more than he's in his own bed.
Touche.
But yeah. No more touche. That's how you got in trouble in the first place. I'm an asshole. It's fine. Andrade leaves WWE, randomly shows up back in AEW because he's the wrestling world's ping pong ball at the moment.
Yes.
I mean, nice work if you can get it. Takes the mask off, attacks Kenny Omega, goes missing. We hear for about a week now that he's gone from AEW for undisclosed reasons. They're not medical, and we're not going to talk about it. Comes out today, said that and this is all allegedly, apparently. I'm just having a bit of fun with this before anybody freaks out.
This is Alvarez telling us this on Wrestling Observer Radio. So that's the source. He's usually Meltzer and Alvarez are two completely different people. When Meltzer says something, I'm like, well, this is probably retarded.
Oh, we're gonna get to Meltzer in a second.
Yeah, exactly. When Alvarez says it though, he's unbiased. He's usually right. Like he hates on NXT because he can't stand Ava as the GM. But he still watches it and reviews it. So it's
Ricky Saint's intrusive thoughts.
Oh, his eyes were wandering. Can't blame him. I mean, I would be. You can't help it.
If he was living in the water, he would have been a rock lobster. Anyways,
that's why every conversation with the opposite gender starts with "my wife said." You know, there's a reason for it.
Dear. So, anyways, as I understand it, Andrade was not able to be on TV because there was a cease and desist sent from WWE. And then it comes out the cease and desist from WWE came from because he broke a 90-day no-compete, which is standard when people leave WWE for the most part, unless they've got some kind of exemption. Now, the line is, okay, a couple more stages here. Now, the line is, they weren't clear about it. Well, you signed a contract that said if you left, you would have a 90-day no-compete. So we're going to pretend that Andrade didn't read his own contract. We're going to pretend that AEW's walking around with blinders on.
Their lawyers didn't look into this before they hired him. My ass.
And what I love about this is what I heard today. And normally I would leave this on the table for discussion, but it's just a little bit good. Apparently, the 90-day no compete isn't a 90-day no compete.
No, it's got some limitations to it. Yeah, some asterisks. You know.
TKO has it in their contracts now that if you leave the company for like whatever you want to call it,
any reason actually, if you're terminated or leave the company ahead of contract without a explicit waiver of contract, you are considered in default of your blah blah blah. So basically, you're found negligent for your contract, and then you have to either not collect or pay back money.
Oh no, this isn't what I heard. I hadn't heard that. This is
a year other half in total of non-compete.
The other half, if you are no longer gone from the company as
your contract didn't just end and they didn't renew you.
No, but if it specifically if it's as repercussions of something bad that you did, if WWE decides they're letting you go early, which is also not great. You get your 90-day and then you're off to the races. If you ask them for your release and you get it, you've got your 90-day. If you fucked up and that's why you're gone now, the thing goes up to a year. Which means they popped up Andrade on Dynamite as a surprise. Andrade is all elite and he's going face to face with Kenny Omega. Oh my God, look what we can do. WWE had him for a second time and they didn't use him. And this time around, AEW is going to use him. What are they doing? They're putting him face to face with Kenny Omega as his introductory rivalry, let alone adding him to the Callis family. But they're
going to send a nicely worded letter once they saw Andrade pop up, right? And indeed they did.
But the whole thing is like WWE. Okay, NXT used him great. Him and Zelina were a great package. He was a great champion for NXT for what NXT was at the time. And I think we can all agree, WWE main roster didn't use him properly. Yeah. AEW didn't use him properly. No. Came back to WWE. We thought it was going to be a big one-up on AEW, that this time we're going to use Andrade properly. Nothing really happened. They had the team with Rey Fenix for like a cup of coffee, and then he like did whatever he did. I'm not even sure entirely what he did. I think it was a wellness
No,
thing.
It was not wellness. It was disciplinary. So what they're saying now, he didn't violate any wellness policy. He was ineffective. Like, apparently there was arguments in the back about creative, and also that he was very difficult to work with. He was yelling and swearing at one of the writers, allegedly, or he was fighting with one person on the writing team.
I had heard there were
He got very hostile with a story, like barged in and allegedly was screaming at one of the writers, and they were like, "You already refused to lose here and there. Enough's enough. Like, we're done with you."
So it was behavioral, not substance, because I heard there was an accusation of substance as well.
That was a false rumor. So it has nothing to do with wellness violations at all. It is disciplinary. That is confirmed.
AEW could have had a checkmate. Okay, this guy's been back and forth so many times now. He hasn't been used properly since NXT.
Let's make him something huge.
This is the time that we're going to use him properly. We're going to put our best foot forward. We're going to show you that we're using him properly. And I'm sorry, you don't get very much higher on that side of the line than, okay, we're going to bring you in and we're going to put you with Kenny.
Yeah.
Now,
you're absolutely
because everybody fucked up on every end. Yeah, you'll get that feud in a year. And I want to say this respectfully, because I don't wish anything bad on Kenny Omega, but his health issues are what they are. Is Kenny going to be there in a year?
I mean, is he? I don't know.
I don't want to say that. Like, I don't. You know what I mean by that.
Yes.
I'm just being realistic. Yeah.
But he seems like he's kind of done with it. He's not feeling what's going on. You know, it really feels that way at this point in time. Like, Kenny's kind of just sick of, because you've heard many of things. Now we knew Rush's injured. Kota Ibushi's going to be out for 2 years with that.
They don't have Ospreay.
Fall.
They don't have Swerve. They don't have who's the other one?
Oh my God.
Darby was gone, but he's back now. They got Hangman, but that's not exactly a positive. They're so far down on the pecking order that Hangman's next challenger is Samoa Joe. With all due respect to Samoa Joe's not a main eventer in 2025.
No, he's a babyface. He's a trios champ, doing all that stuff with the ops for well over a year now. Like, nothing doesn't matter. He matters, but he's been a face, and he's not a great singles challenger. It doesn't make sense as a singles competitor, really. You're going off of, and that was the problem with the Death Riders, because they had people challenge one by one, and it felt like, story of the week kind of ideas, like this Goosebumps novel. Who's going to get on this one? Oh, that's
that's the other one. Friggin'
story of the week.
What's
basically.
His name? MJF is off again because he's doing movie stuff as well. But like, do you feel like? And yes, I'll admit right off the bat, Hangman is not for me, right? But like, they tried to do their dollar store version of Finish the Story, and he played the Cody role, and he went to their dollar store version of WrestleMania and won, and Darby fell from the roof or whatever the fuck he did. And that was the end. That was the Avengers Assemble moment, right? Remember when the MCU had Endgame, and then the accusation they had for a while was, yeah, you got to Endgame and you didn't really know what the fuck to do after that?
Yeah.
That's their version of the
Exactly. That's what they're doing right now. They're like,
give him Joe to the end of the season. Like, what are we doing?
But they're not even giving him that chance, really. They're just like, hey, this is what's going to happen. This is how it's going down. And this is what we're doing. Yeah, and Joe's not the worst choice. You know, people are somewhat excited for it, but who's excited for it? It's not your mass audience. It's not your big audience. It's your casual fans that are right now not.
This is what I'm saying. Like, what I'm saying is not a dig on Joe. When Joe was in TNA, awesome. When NXT got Joe, and like, I remember it being a big thing at the time because he wasn't the first, but he was one of the first people that came over from somewhere else like TNA and got to keep his name.
Yes, exactly. And that's
so
what
it wasn't just that he showed up. Like, if you remember the first time he showed up as a surprise on NXT, people popped to see him on stage. And then when his name came across the screen, there was a small second pop. It's like, not only did we have Samoa Joe, but he's still Samoa Joe.
Yeah, because people are like, "Oh my God, it's not Cassius Clayson." You know what I mean? Like, it's
Samoa and
Joe.
WWE was shit for that back in the day.
Oh, they did it so often.
Like there are
the Viking experience. You know, like, come on.
Holy Christ, we're not doing a preview for this show, but my God, there's 12 matches already.
There's 4 of which are on the kickoff. The tailgate special that they're having.
The tailgate special that's running at the same time as the actual kickoff with like the video packages and the interviews.
Yes. So it's a split double kickoff
at all.
Because they have to do one for like the cable providers, and they have to do one for the fans. I guess is the understanding behind it.
I don't get any of that. But switching gears for now, anyway, away from AEW to WWE, gotta say, biggest thing going right now, Seth Rollins fucked himself up in Australia. They allegedly brought forward a storyline that wasn't supposed to happen till the end of next year.
Yeah.
Had Braun Breaker spear him out of his boots. Apparently, he's dropping the belt. CM Punk is the #1 contender to a championship that is undecided at the moment. CM Punk is kind of in the Indy Hartwell spot from a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, heading into Bound for Glory. It sucks. I don't know why he thought a coast to coast headbutt was
had
the
to
move.
Be. Yeah, that not only that's such a selfish
like
thing
an odd
too,
choice.
that's really unnecessary. It's like somebody in the back was like, "I'll give you a 20 if you pull this off." Like, that's really what it felt like. I'm sorry, but that's what I get out of it, because it was so unnecessary and so ill-advised. Like, it didn't add to the match. It didn't make to the legacy. It's not like, oh my God, that's what you're known for, you have to do it. You gotta do it. You know, it's like, you know, what was it, Rodney the Ram or whatever, and you gotta do the top
Randy
rope
the
Ram. There we go. And he's got to do the top rope elbow, but it's gonna kill his heart. But he had to do it because it's his finisher, and he climbs up. This is not that case.
You know what it is, right?
There's no justification for this at all, except I'm a selfish asshole. Watch me do what I want.
Here's the thing, though, right? And like, you and I can take the piss out of it. You and I are not two people out here that are going to ever tell the wrestlers what to do with their bodies and whatever. If you think you can pull off something cool, I mean, Cena thought the springboard stunner was a thing. But what I'm saying is, if you were going to do something like this, Perth wasn't the night for it, because you had a different match on the card that I think was fantastic for what it was.
That needed that needed everything it had.
But it was a tribute to everybody, because that was the purpose and that was the meaning of that match, and it worked.
It was a love letter to wrestling.
It was two different people.
John Cena and AJ, but to wrestling as well, fans. The universe,
but it was
all of it.
It was such a unique thing, because, and this is off on a separate tangent a little bit, the AJ Styles John Cena match was so cool the first time we saw it, because it was the match that we talked about, that we thought we would. It was when WCW was still around, it was the Undertaker Sting thing that never happened, right?
Yeah.
When John Cena was the guy in WWE and AJ Styles was the guy in TNA, those were the two that you would have put together on your fantasy card if the TNA thing was a thing back then, right? So for John Cena to go in there, pay tribute to his rivals, AJ Styles go in there, pay tribute to his rivals, and Shawn Michaels randomly.
Yes.
When AJ Styles used I forget what Frankie Kazarian called it, but basically called it the Dead Eye. It's like, oh, he did a shout out to the cowboy. I'm like, except not.
I always forget what they call it. Honest to God, I forget the damn name of the thing.
Yeah, it's some rock and roll reference, because back in the day, all of Kazarian's moves were like named after music stuff.
Yeah,
but
I always forget what the hell the name of it is, though. It drives me nuts that I can't remember that.
My point is, you had a match there that was entirely built on, oh my God, and then he did this, and then he did this, and the 619 would have been hilarious as well.
Oh, I know, agreed.
But you had that match on the card, and that match was so special for what it was, right? If you're going to have Seth Rollins, Cody pulling out, oh my God, this match is so friggin' brutal, we got to pull something different out of our bag, tell that story on a different night. You might have still had the same result, and he still would have gotten hurt, and we don't want that. But I'm just saying it didn't it's extra sad because it didn't need to happen on the night. Yeah,
exactly. There was already a reason to not do it, and then you did it anyways. And then there was really a reason being your body to not do it, and you did it anyways. So like, you already said F you to Cena, AJ, and the fans. Now you're gonna go, oh, that's what a heel does. No, that's not what this is. You know it as well as I do. That's not at all what this was. It was him, and he knows I have a bad knee. I have a history of injuries. My shoulder's not great. I shouldn't be doing this.
He's trying to keep it balanced, you know. I fucked up my knee so many times
so
now. Why don't I balance it out and try an arm?
Yeah, exactly, and that's what's sad.
I'm not going to dump on the guy. Like the guy.
No, but I wouldn't be wrestling this way, knowing that I'm the world champion. There was no reason for him to beat Cody now, not one. They gained nothing from it because now he's gone. They lost the story purpose of that. Of if you lose, then we have to kick you out. Well, now it would have made sense if he lost and they betrayed him that night. But because he didn't lose, then what the fuck was the point? Why did he need to win? You guys betrayed him anyways.
The story doesn't make sense now that he's injured and they've had to pivot. I definitely 100% think he needed to win in Perth.
Oh, he did need to win, but I'm saying now that he's injured, it makes that in hindsight feel even more like a waste. You know, like he really didn't need to win. No, we can't go back and change
the booking decision after the fact.
No, I know. But I wish it was a moment like, oh my God, I'm injured, calling audible in the ring. You know what I mean? I wish like Punk supposedly in the Rumble, you know, like I know I'm hurt. Let's switch things. I wish we had that instead, because it was heartbreaking to know that now you got hurt, you selfish prick. There's no reason you needed to win. We could have had so many different outcomes and points of this, but instead we had to see you and Cody again. You and Cody again instead of any other possibility and fucking Cody, one. And then two, you know, it's you got to win and now you're out for at least a year, supposedly.
Which sucks.
It's horrible. I don't want to see him injured, but I don't want to see him injured and it fucks up every bit of plan. I mean, they wanted Drew McIntyre to win the belt. It could have been Drew taking on fucking John Cena again, you know what I mean, kind of idea. Or it could have been Drew. You know, there was so many possibilities here for that, you know, the SmackDown side. And then the World Heavyweight, you didn't need to give it to Seth. Seth did not need that title in that group because the group wasn't about winning titles. The Money in the Bank decision was stupid.
Now that you got me thinking for a second, I would have if the John Cena heel turn had functioned better.
Yeah.
And Drew McIntyre was able to maintain the like absolutely malicious heel that he was when he was in the Punk feud. Then John Cena and Drew McIntyre in a like who can be a bigger asshole match.
Oh, would have been amazing.
Would have been something to look at. Because there's not very many people in the ring these days that John Cena would be looking up at.
No, not at all.
He's a big guy.
He is big. And you know what? It's kind of a beautiful thing that they you know, they got these moments they could have had, but instead, and even Cena's kind of saying it in his own way, where he doesn't give you direct acknowledgement, but he is saying, like, I regret how they handled my retirement so far, so I want these last dates to really mean something. And that's upsetting to hear, but I totally get it. Yeah. You know, it's like, how can you deny him that?
I'm kind of okay with his last two opponents being Dominic Mysterio and Gunther.
Yeah, because, hey, if he does get the IC title, then gives it to Gunther. I'm interested to see what the story is. Everybody's biting down on, it's got to be Liv coming. I don't think it's Liv yet. I think she's not going to come back to the Rumble.
I don't think you...
Why would she come back?
No, I'm not talking about the Liv thing.
Yeah.
I don't think you put the title, the IC title on John Cena because I don't think you even bring the IC. And it's nothing to do with Cena. It's everything to do with, we know his last opponent is supposedly Gunther.
Yeah.
And because he's been to the top, like he made himself with the IC title.
Yes.
Without question. But I think now because he's gotten to the top and people see him more in that world title picture than say somebody like a Jey Uso.
Yeah.
If you even try to tell the story that Gunther's interested in getting the IC title again, then it feels like he's like taken a back step and he's deflated.
Not necessarily, because we've seen people go back for the IC title before. I mean, hell, Seth's done it, Balor's done it. We've seen people go back and make steps for that. What I think we get instead, more or less, is I think, well, we could see it because it's the belt Cena's not held. So that's a huge story in its own right. And along this retirement tour, they've been trying to check off as many boxes as possible. Biggest gate, 100 PLE wins. Now he's number 2 behind The Undertaker.
Here's my pitch. My pitch, right? if he had 3 matches left, because I think he's got 3 appearances left.
Yeah, he's got
right?
the 2 Raws. He's got the final Saturday main event in Survivor Series.
Okay, so it's 4, but like one's just an appearance type thing, right? If he had 3,
we don't know. It looks like he's supposedly had 4 matches with, each appearance has a match, but that's not guaranteed for one of the Raws. The non-Madison Square Garden Raw is up in question.
I wouldn't think so. If he had, if for sure, regardless of take out the count of just appearances, because appearances is pretty vague, right?
Yeah.
If we knew for sure that John Cena had 3 matches left in his tank, win the title from Dominic, drop it to Sheamus, end your career with Gunther.
Yeah, the problem is
but I don't think you have that mid step in there.
No, that if he won it on the first Raw, he could drop it at any time before Gunther. You got 2 spots there at Survivor Series or at Raw at MSG.
But apparently the Dominic match, from what I've heard, everything's speculation, rah, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Allegedly, that Dominic Mysterio match is happening at Survivor Series.
And what sucks is that we went ahead and we had a bad squash with Lesnar, and so many people came to me and they're like, even my own co-host argue with me, damn it, saying, well, that's okay, we're going to get a rematch and Cena will get his due. And I'm like, they are not fighting again. And everyone's like, oh, it'll happen at War Games. He's not involved, Cena, in the War Games planning whatsoever, they're saying. They admitted that openly.
Well, the whole plan for War Games fucking blew up, considering one of the teams was supposed to be Rollins, Reed, Breaker, Lesnar, and Theory.
Yeah, and it made sense with Theory going back because he was with him in the other heel stable that he had.
In the other group, yeah.
What the hell was the name of that?
I think it was just Seth's Gaggle of Bastards or something. I don't even think they ever.
They did have some type of nickname, but
well, I don't think the group had a name. I know when Buddy Murphy was with them, he was like the disciple, and he had that on his pants. But I'm like, we already did that once with the NWO.
Yeah.
But anyways, I'm not quite as harsh on it as you are. I don't necessarily think it came from a point of selfishness. I think he thought he had a really cool idea. The coast to coast is cool. Headbutts are cool. Let me combine the two. Didn't end up in his favor. Don't want to see somebody get hurt.
Yeah.
Seth Rollins is one of those guys that no matter how good he is, I think he's always going to go a little under the radar for it.
Oh yeah.
It gets used as an insult a lot of the time, mostly by other people outside the
member of the Shield
fandom. No, not even that. What I was going to say is it's I mean this with no negative connotation, but Seth's a really awesome company guy.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Like the Miz, if the Miz was a little bit better in the ring, right?
Yeah.
They'll literally go and do whatever you ask them to.
Yeah.
They'll go out there and make the biggest dicks of themselves. They'll try some new shit. They'll get thrown into a story. So in that regard, he's probably a pretty chill. I'm not making any guesses. I don't know the guy, but seems like he's a pretty chill guy. He's not one of these, I'm never going to put anybody over. I'm going to win all the time. And I'm going to have a reign of terror, even though I think that's a little gratuitous when people say that about Triple H, but
yeah,
but you know what I mean? So
no,
even if he did go out there in Perth and say, you know what, I've got this really cool idea. And for 5 seconds, the cool thing is going to be me. Maybe I'm a softie. I don't see that as particularly selfish. The other side of that being hey, you've got this other match on the card that's going to pull at everybody's, nostalgia heartstrings and whatnot. So what can I do to still make my match stick out after that?
Yeah, no kidding.
And it would have been a really cool. The thing about it is everybody's saying why the fuck did he do that? But if it had been fine, everybody would have been hey, cool, nice.
Yeah,
you got
exactly.
Another weird.
It wouldn't have been an issue.
You got another thing to add to your weird, in case of emergency pull group of moves or something. Like when he reverts back to the pedigree.
Yeah, exactly.
When the match is going along, I gotta pull something different. Yeah. I don't know. It sucks. They're using it to push Braun and Reed, which is cool. Reed coming off the win on Roman and Breaker taking out Seth. You're taking out the 2 good thirds of the Shield. So that's a hell of a push. And I think what's his name? Heyman's their manager now, whether he likes it or not.
Yeah,
because
no,
he doesn't
he's
want to
like,
die.
guess what? I know what's gonna happen. I don't want to get my ass kicked. So he knows.
Yeah, they're making chicken salad out of chicken shit. But like,
yeah,
it sucks. It sucks. It looks like they're gonna pull something out of it. Pause. Just put the tag titles on them like now. Like,
it's gonna happen.
Strike while the iron's hot. Put the tag titles on them. Because like 6 months down the line, whatever team gets the belts off of them is going to look like $1 million.
Yeah, no
because not
doubt
only
about
are
it.
you beating
It's
Braun
coming to
Breaker,
happen,
not only are you beating this like world breaker in Braun Breaker, horrible choice of words there, because clearly they've got him pegged as a main eventer later on down the line, but you're also beating a Paul Heyman team.
Yeah, you can't forget about
that. Carries
that.
weight.
That's huge. People forget about that far too often. And like, I don't think people always recognize Paul Heyman's accomplishments, and it's kind of upsetting when you realize how long he's been relevant for, how long he's been active for, how long he's done.
Can you imagine?
Of it. Like,
with the way that he is on the microphone, can you imagine if he wasn't in the wrestling sphere, right? Can you imagine like he could just make a living off of being a public speaker?
Oh, he would be a politician and a half. Are you kidding me?
Not even a politician. Like, imagine like
I'm just kidding.
Paul Heyman decides he's he's gonna create a motivation app, and every morning it's just him yelling your own accomplishments at you or something.
He can filibuster like a motherfucker, but he can motivate like no other. So him being your personal motivator, baby.
He'd follow me to work and be like, Spaz Phoenix, the reigning, defending forklift driver champion.
Right. He's knocking them up and tearing them down. Spaz.
That's not good. That's not good for a warehouse resume. Knocking it up and tearing it down.
Well, I was trying to be hopeful. You know, I wanted to make more of a mess for you to clean up. But
all right, that gives me a great point to transition on. Speaking of being hopeful and not everything always going, not always going in your favor. You said it.
You want to know about favors? One time, Vince McMahon
Taker don't do no favors.
A donkey. Oh, okay. That's a bit.
Oh my.
That's graphic. No one wants to hear about him and a donkey.
If you want my advice, never get a tattoo on your neck of somebody else.
Oh, it's true. You never want to get your spouse's name on you.
Cater Taker's a little shit faced right now.
That's why why my heart says Spaz for my tattoo, not my wife.
Dear. Don't tattoo your heart. It's not healthy. Okay. Something I had a lot of hope for, and I went away from. Okay. Other than NXT, I like to think I show a lot of love to TNA on this channel.
Absolutely.
We're boosters. We're happy for their success.
But you were happy with TNA before people in the general public were like, yay, TNA.
Yeah. Well, I was like,
you've been there for the long haul. No, you've given them viewership. You've helped them get some of their resurgence. You promoted them endlessly. And let's not forget that you and I were the hardcore ones sticking it out when they were on friggin' Twitch and stream sites together when there was nobody in the audience.
Now you've gone too far. I was not watching when they were on Twitch.
Listen, I was watching when they were on Twitch.
I've said it.
That's when I got into it mostly because it was cool to see a live stream taking advantage of that aspect. Now, I wish they were doing that more. I think they could really garner a big audience with it.
Yeah, but now they're going to get a TV deal and they're going to outdo Dynamite, and it's fine.
I was trying to keep Whoopi in with me, but
no, I have to swing the other way because anytime anybody talks to me about TNA, I watched it when it was the six-sided ring and the early days of the X Division. Then I fell right off. What got me back into, you and I have had this discussion before. What got me back into paying attention to TNA again was when I saw how much crossover there was when I started going to Destiny shows. Check it out for Spaz Phoenix bucket list. It's fine because a lot of people, we're talking like Josh Alexander, Ethan Page, Trey Miguel, Aiden Prince, other people that I'm not thinking of right now, but like a lot of people that were introduced to me through. Well, no, Trent Seven I already knew from NXT, but
I thought you met him through Destiny first.
No. I was watching him on NXT UK, and then
fair.
They were already him and Bate were already the NXT UK tag team
champions. Okay, I thought it was before that. Cool I was giving you too much credit.
No.
I thought you were a real cool cat.
You got to remember, when I first went to my first Destiny show, the match that got me there was their title match between John Morrison and Pete Dunne.
Yes. So that's true.
But
that's actually a good time frame to be a part of that. To now that remember and call back.
So I can't say I was there when TNA was a pay-per-view every week. I can't say I was there in the low times when Impact Wrestling was in its Twitch streams. But for the most part, and especially throughout this NXT deal, I've tried to boost them. I've tried to show the positivity. Maybe not necessarily like push them on other people that aren't interested, but like it's worthy of conversation. Spread the good word. It's worthy of conversation, and the crossover with NXT doesn't hurt either, right? And then got into Bound for Glory, and we're not going to go over the whole card because I want to zoom in on one match in particular, right?
Yeah.
Got to Bound for Glory.
I won't derail us.
And TNA is not beating the accusations of they always got to sprinkle some TNA on it. Because I watched the show, and if anybody heard my last solo podcast, the latest example of why I'm so much better with a co-host, I talked about this in a little more depth, but there was so much on this show, and I enjoyed the show. I had a fun time with the show beginning to end, but there was so much on this show was like you had something and then you lost it.
Yeah.
You had something and then you fucked it up.
They TNA'd
you had
it
something, then they TN. And I hate that that's a thing, but I have to call a spade, and I have to be honest about it. And they TNA'd it, and there is no word. Okay, the what do you call it? The Call Your Shot Gauntlet. How that ended. Pretty bad.
Ridiculous.
They ended it in a tie. They're doing a tug of war with the trophy. Pretty bad. Not nearly as bad. Not nearly as
why they wouldn't restart it. Yeah.
Well, that. But this is not the match I'm zooming in on.
No.
What should have been contender for match of the year.
Knock out of the park. Easy to compete with.
How did they fuck up Slater and Evans?
Even saying 5 more minutes, I would have said until there's a finish. Like, I understand you're restricted on time, but don't say 5 more minutes. Already that has a bad connotation. People are thinking like, oh, we're going to get screwed doubly then. This sucks. Like, they kind of knew it was going to fuck them over once you said only 5 more minutes. And then Dark State. And I get it because they want to put heat on Dark State because they just lost their tag titles.
Like they were told to fuck off out of the building, so the heat worked,
the heat worked because they ruined the match of the night. But was it worth the heat?
Here's my thing. I think they could have gotten away with this, right? Because you can do one of two things in wrestling, right? You can tease bullshit.
Yes.
Or you can do bullshit.
Yeah.
Right? Tease bullshit is when there's when there's a double count out, and everybody thought it was a double count out when actually it was a time limit draw.
Yeah.
It totally slipped my mind, the 20-minute time limit on X Division title matches, because I don't think it's been a focused on thing in a while. But I credit them for keeping that as being a thing. But everybody thought it was just, they both got counted out because they were brawling in the
That's
crowd
how I took it. I thought they were just like, oh, fuck,
we
forgot to get back in the ring in time. I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me.
But you know
That's
what,
ridiculous.
though? Like, that would have been a lot easier to smooth over with like, they should be counted out, but it's referee's discretion and whatever. So having it be the time limit draw, which is a concrete thing, a little bit better from a storytelling point of view, right?
Yeah, not terrible, but the fact we knew they were going to restart it, get the pop, okay.
Yeah. But here's the thing, like in a typical match where people brawl outside the ring and they don't notice that the referee's counting them out and it's a bullshit finish. Oh, boo, bullshit finish, right? And then, the GM comes out and they get the hero pop because they said, we're going to start it again.
Yep.
It's going to be a sudden death or whatever. So that's
I was expecting that. Yeah.
So that's where you tease bullshit, right? Actual bullshit would have just been, hey, there's a great match. Dark State are going to do the interference. Not terrible, but then it's just like you had one continuous match with one continuous flow. The match was going great until it hit the brick wall that was Dark State. That's doing bullshit. But they teased bullshit to do bullshit.
Yeah.
And that never works. I'm sorry. And this is one of those cross the board things. WWE has done it. NXT has done it. TNA has done it. AEW has done it. I'm sure ROH has done it if I ever watched a scrap of ROH.
WWE did it when they had Daniel Bryan win and they teased the cash in. You're like, oh my God, is it really going to do it? No, Randy's not going to get it. And then Triple H pedigrees him and you're like, oh my God, they're going to do it. That was, like you said, delivering bullshit. This, they had a chance. And
but this is the thing, like if they, like what I'm saying is like the Dark State coming in and fucking it up would have just been the bullshit.
Yes.
And then the story would have been like,
they ruined the match. They've restarted it.
Yeah, look at all that great momentum they had right before Darkseid got in there. But the momentum was already gone because they had already hiccuped the match.
Yeah, you already chose to restart this.
Now, here's the thing. Here's where my head goes all over the place, right? Now, first and foremost, we're going to get a rematch.
Yes.
That's an awesome thing, right? We've already got a preview of what that match is going to look like.
Yes.
Awesome, right? Now, me being also an X Division fan, right?
Yes.
I'm like, okay, or sorry, an NXT fan.
I know what you meant.
They're probably going to run that back at Havoc. Isn't that kind of cool?
That's cool. Look what we get. Yeah.
That's a unique thing for us. And I think it's only the second time that the X Division champion has been defended at NXT.
I believe so. I think so.
When Wesley and Zachary Wentz fought at No Mercy that time, because Wesley won the X Division title the night before.
Yes, and we were like, "Oh, is he going to defend it?"
And it carried over into the next day. Yeah,
and they weren't. They were doing the partnership, but it wasn't like this big yet. They weren't like actively. It was in
dribs and drabs, right?
Yes, it was very slow moving, but it was effective.
But then immediately, my next thought after that is like, okay, if they rematch it at Halloween Havoc, the narrative out there from the critics and all that, and I can't exactly argue with it, is like, oh, they did a non-finish so that they could do the proper match on the NXT show. That's kind of bullshit. And I can't really argue that either, because Halloween Havoc is one of my favorite pay-per-views of the year. I'm a Halloween guy, spooky guy. It's all good over here. But at the same time, what's it called? Bound for Glory is supposed to be their WrestleMania. Like, do you do a fuck finish at WrestleMania to have a really cool match at Backlash?
I mean, look at AJ, Nakamura, Asuka, Charlotte. We've gotten many of those.
Yeah. But so
yeah,
here's all this thing. Like, we're gonna do it again. They're gonna be a tag. They're gonna be a tag team at some point, which will be a lot of fun. Because I would love to see, and people have already said it. This is not a new thought. Like, NXT people have gone for TNA titles, and TNA people have gone for NXT titles. But as far as tag teams go, you've had Fraxium, you've had Dark State, you've had Hardy Boys in the mix and all that kind of thing, Rascals in the mix.
But have
they done it? But have they done it where the team going for those particular set of tag titles is one star from each brand?
True.
I don't think they've done that, and that would be a really cool story to tell. And just the not the charismatic, the chemistry, that's the word I'm looking for. Thank you, brain. The chemistry between these two is insane.
Yeah.
Like, the match, like, take the ending out of it. That match was insane.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That was a lot of fun. And it goes back to my initial thing.
I just wish it ended, and so do you. And that's the problem. I would have rather have had Leon win definitively, because now we're not getting a rematch, and it feels very ass backwards. It feels.
Oh, we are getting a rematch. Like,
it'll happen eventually at some point. But
I will. Okay, I hate to use the expression because we know who came up with it, but I will claim promotional malpractice on TNA and NXT if we do not get a rematch between these two for the title.
I have a feeling we're not going to. I for some reason feel like they're going to do it where, nope, you guys, this is what happened, and this is what you're getting.
Well, Leon Slater is defending the X Division Championship against Stax next week.
Yeah, which maybe
because
Javon
Santino
will interrupt it.
Santino went to Ava and said, "Can you please put my son-in-law in a title match on your show?" Even though Santino's the one that should be deciding things about the X Division Championship.
Exactly.
But
sure.
But so that'll be like, Stax isn't winning. I mean, Ariana Grace is. Damn. But I think Stax is going to try and do something. Stax is going to do something shady. He's going to pull out the crowbar or something. Javon's going to come and like disarm him. There's going to be a show of respect. They're going to sign the rematch for Havoc, and Havoc already looks pretty damn good.
Yeah.
But it's a weird bullshit ending. The little flutters through the dirt sheets afterwards. Oh my God, I can't believe how heavily influential WWE was on that match. Well, first of all,
no shit.
If big bad WWE was going to come in and be influential, and WWE is as bad as you say they are, wouldn't Javon Evans be the X Division champion right now?
Yeah, exactly. Like, what are you thinking here? Come on.
And second of all, more to your point, it's a TNA star and an NXT star. You can't say that NXT isn't going to have a hand in that creative.
Thank you. Yeah. They have to.
You think TNA didn't decide, hey, Santana's our guy. He's the one that's going to beat Trick.
Mm-hmm.
Big, huge, gigantic shout out to Santana as well. Well deserved. Got away from the tag team partner that was holding him down. Got away from the company that was holding him down. Now he's a world champion.
Yeah, and I mean, he knows what's up. Granted, but
unless you got a heart of stone, him and his daughter in the middle of the ring at the end of the show. Heartstrings, man. The kind of shit that wrestling's supposed to do to you. But
supposed to make you feel, and they're doing it in droves.
Supposed to make you feel things. Supposed to make you feel things.
That's why doing it, though.
See, this is why. And I don't really have any news stories about CM Punk, so I might as well. Actually, yes, I do. But I might as well say something about CM Punk right now. That's why CM Punk works, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're a WWE fan, if you're a TNA fan, if you're an ROH fan, if you're an AEW fan. CM Punk, 2023 Survivor Series, showing up at the end after everything had happened. His music hits. You go through that, 1 or 2 seconds of, oh my God, this can't be real. Are they trolling? Oh my God. Okay, there he is. Everybody feels something.
Absolutely. The moment, the brevity, whatever you want to call it, like it was there.
And let me say, not all of it's positive.
No, it doesn't have to be either, but it's there.
CM Punk, everybody feels. I go back to it all the time, that I don't remember the name of the pay-per-view that AEW had when they announced back-to-back that they had Adam Cole and Daniel Bryan. I had a reaction to it. My reaction to it is, well, we're fucked. You know what I mean? But everybody thinks something, and that's really cool. I really hope we get the rematch between these two guys at Havoc. Selfishly, I think it'll be a cool thing to put on the NXT card. You got El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr. on that card. So we've got some AAA crossover. Our girl Pax is going for the ladies title. We're going to talk about all this next week, obviously.
Yes, indeed.
But one thing we do have to say, and we're not going to preview this match right now, but the Hardys are giving Dark State their contractually obligated rematch for the NXT Tag Team Championships. And I do believe, once again, that they're doing the everybody else is banned from ringside, so there'll only be 2 of them there.
Hopefully. We'll
Initially,
see how that turns out.
Because of the interaction that they had this past week on NXT, I thought, okay, if they aren't having the X Division title match at Havoc, which would be a bad decision, then maybe the Hardys have Javon and Slater in their corner to like even out the numbers, keep it an even playing field, whatever.
Yeah.
But
something.
But instead, the rumor, the latest crossover to WWE to back up the Hardys, who are TNA talents, in their NXT title match on the NXT pay-per-view.
Yes.
Apparently, the rumor is Private Party.
Now, I've heard this as well, and I wasn't sure what to make of it, but I mean, we'll kind of see what happens, no?
Here's my thing. And
I wouldn't hate it.
I'm sure, yeah, that's exactly where I'm at. I'm sure there's a lot of other people that could fall into this category as well. Here's where I'm at with Private Party right now. If they showed up,
great,
I'd be like, cool. Some depth, some brevity for the tag division, especially on NXT. OTM just came back last week. Yay. But like,
whoa.
I wouldn't be like ecstatic. It wouldn't be the headline on our next podcast, but I'd be like, all right, that's cool.
Yeah.
And that's about where I'm at with them, because the only thing that I know about Private Party from AEW is way back when they first were establishing the AEW Tag Team Championships in the first tournament. They went over the Bucks in the first round,
which everybody thought was ridiculous, but it kind of was ridiculous with how they were booked.
The opposite. It was the opposite way. It was the opposite way around from what I was seeing in the conversations that I was having, because the Bucks put over this young new team. Isn't that great and wonderful? And that's a huge moment for them. And it ended up being a huge moment for the Bucks instead.
Yeah.
Because instead of everybody saying, hey, Private Party beat the Bucks, can you believe it? It was, look at this nice thing that the Bucks did. And it was all like condescending as shit.
Of course.
And it never got out of that. Even when they won the titles, it never got out of that condescending, the Bucks went and ruffled their heads. Like,
yeah, look what they did for you.
At the very least, they could come over and not have that over their heads. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. It could have just been something simple, but they had to make it a problem.
But like, there's a lot of good teams they could, like, depending on where they go. I mean,
SmackDown was going great until the Wyatt Six got over there. People were like, "Oh, you like Bray Wyatt tributes because you enjoyed John Cena's tribute, but you hate the Wyatt Six." And it's like, I don't hate the Wyatt Six, but I'm just not thrilled with them right now. There's been zero story development. We have no idea any more about them now than we did when they debuted. Not even like an ARG continuation with the alternate reality game they were doing online with the rabbit and shit. Taking a breath here. But they really didn't give us jack squat, and I'm just highly disappointed because Bray was so creative. He had such a mind for the business. Everything was so well thought out in advance with him that people would actually get perturbed working with him because they felt like they couldn't get any input in because he had everything so well thought out, pre-planned, and documented. And as for this, they felt like they were flying by the seat of their pants. They got the biggest reaction they could because, hey, look at that. They debuted and they killed everyone. But what did it lead to? Nothing for a long time. Then finally they attacked a few people, okay. But then that was it for quite some time. We never got any more. Like, that was the crux of it, the most of it. That's what we got. And then they ended up on SmackDown. They win the tag titles. We have no idea what, why, how, any of it. But we got the Wyatts, yay. Yeah, and that's not a tribute. That's just, you know, going to the lowest common denominator. It really is.
I know. I'm gonna. Oh, there's no way I'm gonna say this and not sound like a dick. You know what's funny, Jake? You know what's funny, Jake? I agree with you.
Yes.
I agree with everything you just said. Everything you just said was valid and well thought out and justified. But sometimes I'm me.
Yes, and you don't give a shit.
And the MFTs came out in face paint and stared down the Wyatts, and I'm in.
And you know what? I'm not against the match. I'm not. I was excited to see the match. I just wish they didn't have the tag titles, if that makes sense, because the tag division was doing wonders to rehab those titles. They were killing it. TLC at Mania was nuts. Like, they were doing a great job. And then it's like, all right, we're not going to see him defend it anymore. That's what I get upset over. Same thing with Judgment Day defending him once.
I don't mind that. Okay, the Judgment Day thing is a little more egregious on Raw. I can't even fight you on that one.
Yeah.
The thing was, like, for 5 minutes, SmackDown was going on a run of look at all our awesome tag teams, and then all of them but Private Party, or not Private Party. Jesus Christ. That's gonna get me accusations now. Street Profits. Street Profits.
You got Private Party on the brain now because they're coming, baby. I'm coming. Wrong black guy, see? Oh, Jesus.
Oh, no.
I'm coming.
Yeah, wrong intro. Yeah, it's not the Hurt Business anymore. It's the Dollar Store Hurt Business over on the other channel. But here's the thing, though, right? Is
now we're canceled.
The only team that's like been maintained as a constant threat is the Street Profits, and they're doing the can they coexist thing, and then BFAB comes in because what we need is a totally like only there sometimes person to smack them back into shape. It's like, oh, they were going to break up, but I, gave them a stern talking to and a finger wag, and now they're back together. But they have their old music back, which is a plus.
Yeah, no doubt. That's a good thing.
But I'm sorry. And I'm sort of treading on sacred ground a little bit because I'm talking about a moment in history that a lot of people hold in really, really high regard, and so do I.
Yeah.
On a much smaller scale, the new sort of rebranded MFTs stare down with the Wyatt Six.
Go ahead. Say it.
Wyatt family and the Shield.
Yeah, it really does have that feel to it, and you can't deny it. I mean that wholeheartedly. Like, I would be the one to argue that usually, but no, they did it. They killed it.
There was I said it on
not ruined it. They did great by that, And if I said they actually killed it, we'd have a problem.
Yeah, it's true. On my solo pod, I did a lot more deep diving on last week's SmackDown because I think they gave us more news stories coming out of SmackDown than they did out of Perth. Yeah. If I'm honest, but
I believe so.
I mean the Wyatt Six are, their gimmick is right up my street. It's going to take a lot for me to not like them. It is what it is. The return of Tama Tonga and sort of like the rebrand of like the 4-man Gorillas of Destiny under Solo, and everybody's like, oh, what? All it takes is face paint. Yeah, you know what? Sometimes all it takes is face paint.
Yep. And sometimes
like that. It's fucking wrestling.
Oh
But
yeah.
it's becoming so cliche. Oh, like especially with the bloodline. Oh, somebody came out in a black hoodie, but it's like somebody came out in a black hoodie that you could very clearly see bright white face paint underneath. So like
It was
they're doing a
very
rip.
reflective. Yeah.
They're doing a rip on their own gimmick, but it's like they all came out, they're all painted up, and the contrast of them all being painted up and being like a little bit more like animalistic in nature, but Solo Sikoa's still there, still looking classy, all suited and booted and in control of things,
Yeah.
so to speak. Almost coming off, and I think I said this in the pod, I'm not sure. I hope this doesn't mean that he's like regressing into like a manager role, because I do still want to see him wrestle. Like, there's no reason he shouldn't. But
Yeah, no,
as
but
sort of like the evil mastermind, you know, petting his cat in his armchair there, Solo Sikoa. Shitty metaphors all over the damn place.
But it works.
But it kind of works, yeah.
Absolutely.
Wrestling, I hate to say it, what's his name from Kiss just passed away
Ace
today. Yeah. And
that.
they're from the music side of things, they were the perfect example. But wrestling as a whole, like, you know, Kiss always got compared to like groups like the Road Warriors and the you know, Demolition and groups like that. But like, it's a show, it's a spectacle, it's a visual medium.
Exactly.
Present somebody differently to me, even if it's just on a visual level. I'm gonna give them another chance. I'm going to give them like, hey, it's a fresh coat of paint, but like, hey, the paint looks nice. Let's see how the car drives. The other thing coming out of SmackDown, and I've talked it to death already, but I haven't gotten your take on it as of yet.
Yeah.
The reunion of Aleister Black and Zelina Vega, or should I say the first time they've been united actually on screen together as an act.
Yeah.
I
wonder what the connection is. I can't quite figure it out. No, honestly, I like them being together. It works well. Obviously, people have wanted this for a long time, and there's a reason for it. She was best as a manager. Not saying she's done a decent wrestler at times, but better manager.
I think she can still wrestle, yeah.
But I'm not saying she can't, but she was a better manager for what we saw on screen with her and Andrade. She made that shit work.
Well, here's the thing, though, right? And now I'm just repeating myself, but like Aleister was like, okay, he's back, but what's he really doing? Okay, he's feuding with people and kind of fucking with people, not really with a direction. They wanted to pluck Zelina Vega out of the LWO and let her be her own thing, and then they didn't. So to make them an act, you're kind of boosting both of them, because by saying they're an act, they have to do something with that act. So whether it's in a manager's role or whether it's, you know, partly managing and still doing her own thing, Aleister Black will be on TV more, because Aleister Black's going to get in the what do you call it, US title picture again. I know he challenged Sammy already, but then Priest cost him, so that'll happen again. But I think it's cool. Like, and we're not stupid. It's 2025. There are a couple in real life now. There are a couple on TV.
Couple of assholes that you're going for? Oh no, I'm sorry, I jumped the gun there.
Oh, he doesn't like to lose. Okay, that's only a problem to other people that also don't want to lose.
As he puts over pretty much everybody. Yeah. So shush.
Yeah.
He just put over Dom before he put over, you know, it's like it's happened. So,
but here's the thing though, right? With Black, and he did the fire paper thing, right? My comparison is the old, I think it was Karrion Kross and Keith Lee in NXT. When he opened up the contract at the contract signing and the contract thing was on fire.
Yes.
And everybody that likes to poo-poo spooky gimmicks was like, oh, are we supposed to believe that he controls fire? No, you're supposed to believe that he's an asshole that put a piece of flame paper in the contract paper.
Yeah.
That's the word I'm looking for. So in Aleister Black's case, he had something stuck in his wrist in case the match didn't go his way, because he wanted an additional piece of his arsenal to show you what an asshole he's willing to be to his opponent.
Yes, he didn't act like he came out of thin air and he went, you know, Wingardium Leviosa.
And he didn't burn his eyebrows off like Hulk Hogan. It's fine.
No, and he didn't burn his nuts off like the Warrior either.
Anyway, I think it's really cool. Hopefully it gives them direction. The MFTs, I think that the way that they doubled down with the MFTs, because MFTs came out and interrupted Sami Zayn versus Shinsuke Nakamura to announce that they were back. First of all, Nakamura's back. Second of all, Nakamura's music is back.
Which is
so
a
they
lot of
fucked
their
that
music
match
is
up.
coming back now. A lot of people had
This is
requested
what I
to
was
have their
gonna
old
say.
music back.
Street
So,
Profits as well, yeah.
but there's going to be more than just them. I know LA Knight got his turn back. Apparently, Sheamus is getting his back.
Sheamus and Drew have been the loudest for the longest time, but Def Rebel in general are on their last contract, so apparently we're going to be wishing them well in their future endeavors quite quickly.
I believe it.
But it wasn't just because you could have just had the one segment. They came out, Tama Tonga interrupted the the US Open Challenge between Sammy and Nakamura. Nakamura was back. That was the first bit of news. Tama was back. That's the second bit of news. Tama's back with this new reinvigorated MFTs. That's the third bit of news. And then they doubled down later on in the night when they came out to challenge the Wyatt Six, because there's a dual purpose to that. Like, I know you are trepidatious about them being the tag titles while the faction warfare is happening.
Yeah.
But you can kill two birds with one stone. The Guerrillas of Destiny want those tag titles, but also the MFTs want to establish that they are the faction on the roster.
Exactly. So you can do it both ways.
It does serve two purposes. Like, you can say, hey, we're the most dominant faction on the roster, and the first step to proving that is we're going to take those tag titles.
Yes. Which is also fine, but I just hope we didn't even have Uncle Howdy come out there, so I'm hoping it's not just like, oh, we're here to defend, because like that kind of thing. Like, it doesn't really matter.
Although I wouldn't mind. I mean, it would have to be in TNA because WWE and AEW don't have the balls to do intergender wrestling. But if you send them both over to TNA for a second, Solo Sikoa versus Nikki Cross would make me laugh my ass off.
Yeah, well, Nikki Cross needs to do something more than just jumping on people randomly at times. Like, that's gotten old quick, where she just jumps off the stairs of the turnbuckle and she's like, I get it, I'm spooky. And that's all we get. I need more from my Nikki Cross, because I know she can do it.
Because we've seen groups before, factions before, like factions like to recruit other people that they think are like-minded and all those types of things, right? Can you imagine? Okay, and can you imagine the overreaction from people that don't like WWE? Oh my God, it's so terrible. It's the end of wrestling. Can you imagine Nikki Cross showing up in NXT to recruit Tatum Paxley?
Right? That would be nuts.
Excuse me. I mean, we already had Tatum Paxley's doll versus Alexa Bliss's doll on Homecoming, which was hilarious, and all the people that don't have a sense of humor said other things. But
of course, because they can't laugh at anything. It's too hard to just laugh sometimes. And that's the thing too, because as silly as it is, they still have a serious side to all of it. Like, there's still Tatum winning, battle royals. There's still people doing things in the culling. Like, it's not all just jokes.
Okay. Consider the ground this covers. Tatum is secretly one of the best wrestlers they have on NXT.
Oh yeah, she's great, and they have underutilized her for a long time. And just because she's a little quirky, a little strange, they don't fully accept it, because they've already got a Rhea. Why do they need a Tatum at home kind of idea? And that's kind of what they got off with. But now it seems to be, connecting better between Tatum
Paxley and the pictures that went around last week of Zarya not in wrestling attire.
Yes, dear God. That was a pleasant surprise.
And Ricky Saints' intrusive thoughts.
I'm one of those guys that likes less makeup as possible. Stick with the eyeliner. Yes, his intrusive thoughts are winning usually. So at least it seems like they are.
Anyways, I got one more serious thing to talk about, but we'll throw a quick funny thing in there. Boo hoo hoo. There's no AEW people on the next Jericho cruise, because he's coming back to WWE. The last time he was in the WWE was in a Royal Rumble in Saudi, and this year, next year, whatever year, he's coming back for a Royal Rumble in Saudi. It's going to be fine.
Here's the thing, Spaz. What people are missing is, it's not like it's totally, not confounded before in some legitimacy. People are having issues with the Jericho cruise on the AEW side due to contracts and the way they're set up. It's not enabling and allowing them to basically earn money like they thought they could. And it was this whole big issue at that point in time where people were just super upset. So he's better off just not bringing people on, he said initially. It wasn't all just a WWE possible thing.
But do you see some of the names that are on the Jericho cruise?
Interesting. So
you got Paige on there. You got the former Cora Jade on there.
Yes.
You got Shotzi Blackheart.
She's like a host too, Cora Jade. Elena Blackwell.
Fuck off, really?
Yeah, she's one of the main hosts.
Nice.
So
nice. And then you got Chris Van Vliet and other dignitaries like that. I think he said Buff Bagwell's going to be there,
Marcus Bagwell,
as an honored as an honored guest or whatever.
Yep.
I mean, that guy's been through the ringer, so good for him for being able to participate in anything.
That gets some money, all of it.
Yeah. No, I'm happy for that. Like,
Absolutely.
why the fuck not?
Yeah. I'm glad.
And
he
like,
just dealt with amputation, so.
Yeah. I always said, like, when they did the first Jericho cruise, right? Remember when they did like Dynamite on the boat, and it's like, okay, whatever, we did a cool thing, and Britt Baker cut like the worst promo in captivity. But I'm like, you can't hate Jericho for the hustle, because here's a guy who's got his own cruise, convinced his boss to run a wrestling show on his cruise
live.
He's
from
coming
there,
out
so he had to fly out satellites to do so.
with a ring announcement or a ring entrance that's by his band on his boat. What's essentially his show.
Yeah, from top to bottom.
Like the guy, like hate the guy all you want. Oh, he doesn't vote the way I want. I'm like, fuck off.
I always died that they had to bring out those massive broadcast satellites, and it actually weighed down the cruise ship and all this because it was so heavy to bring these dishes out so they could broadcast the show live.
Hey, speaking of which, did you hear in the States very, very recently, 2 satellite dishes actually got married?
Really?
Yeah, there was no service. There was no service, but the reception was great. Hey, I'm an asshole. It's fine.
I love it.
But yeah, no, Jericho, WWE, and I'm gonna laugh my ass off. Everybody's gonna cringe. Everybody's gonna pretend it's like the end of everything. Everybody's gonna pretend, oh, you know, he was a psyop in AEW the whole time. Okay, then Tony Khan's an idiot again.
It's the end of the world as we know it. I feel Jericho.
I cannot wait for the AEW loyalists to twist themselves into pretzels trying to bury the first ever historic AEW world champion.
Yeah, because they're going to say, oh, he didn't matter. He was washed up. He stayed too long. Think about, and you know what's funny? There has not been one person that was fired from WWE, let go. Now, I don't mean just like disciplinary, but like Aleister Black included, like people that were let go that worked out in AEW. They've got people that have worked out, but it wasn't, they were fired. They were, you know, like Brian was released of his contract, same thing with Moxley, but other people that have been fired, the Rusevs, the Andrades, Aleister Black, anyone let go of their contract has not succeeded in AEW. I went through the whole article earlier. I wish I still had it in front of me, but name through name, every single fired star has had issues with AEW.
And you know what the thing is as well, right? And yes, it's me. And yes, everything reverts back to NXT at some point, right? WWE has proven that they will find something for you to do long after you can't wrestle anymore.
Yes,
like from the agents that you see in the back. You see somebody like a Jason Jordan who's an agent. Bobby Roode is an agent. Corey Graves, when his career was taken from him quite early on, they transitioned him into the commentary role. He's fantastic. I honestly think he's one of the best voices that they have currently. Like, obviously under the tutelage of somebody like a Michael Cole, but like they will take care of you past what you can do in the ring. Now, think about NXT. Think about the creative minds in NXT right now. You've got Shawn Michaels. You've got Triple H. You've got William Regal. You've got the other name I can hardly ever. I know Bobby Roode is heavily involved in the NXT side of things as well. CM Punk is involved in sort of like a non-official, like mentor type capacity down there. Now imagine from a creative point of view, adding Chris Jericho to that brain trust.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there's 2 people, right? And Cody Rhodes is the other one, and I got to give him all the credit in the world, brother. Who, and I mean, other than an extreme example like The Undertaker, who has reinvented themselves with more regularity than, say, a Chris Jericho or a Cody Rhodes?
Yeah, no, you're right.
And considering Dusty's role in the original NXT, if you think Cody Rhodes isn't going to be involved in NXT after he hangs up his boots, you're crazy.
I mean, like, you have to be, right?
Yeah. You really would. I mean, what they need to do, and I've said it, and I know that she's somebody that is, you know, very in some circles, a very controversial person. I don't think she's a very controversial person at all. You do need a lady down there on that creative team in NXT. And Gail Kim is right there.
You would think.
You would think. I mean, I don't think she's taken any steps towards AEW anytime soon, considering Kenny Omega's unfortunate, she's just sitting on it for a TKO gift basket or whatever the fuck he said. I like Kenny. That was out of order.
Yeah, that wasn't a nice thing to see.
All right. And speaking of out of order, and speaking of people I genuinely like, speaking of people I genuinely like being out of order. Oh, also, Mercedes Moné said that Dave Meltzer was a mark, and that's supposed to make us believe that Dave Meltzer is not going to be biased towards AEW anymore. That's cute. It's not going to work because we're not stupid. Moving swiftly on. I've always said AEW, I don't like the company. They do have wrestlers that I like. I mentioned Omega. I mentioned Ospreay. And usually the third name I mention is typically Darby Allin. Yeah. I really like Darby Allin for how stupid the casket match was. I liked watching it live. It was fun. I acknowledge that if I was watching it on TV, I probably would have groaned and rolled my eyes. But hey,
it's fun.
I was watching them in real time, trying to make the very shitty, not working caskets work. It was fun. But he's on Ariel Helwani.
Yes.
And he's taking all of his pot shots, and he's not saying any names because he doesn't
dumping
have the balls
a glass of water on his face because it's cinema and he's artsy.
Well, you know what? The whole one
of the interns walked over with a mug of one of the Ariel Helwani mugs, put it down in front of him with water. He goes to sip it and he dumps it on his head. And Ariel's like, "Why did you do that?" And he kind of like just puts his hand up, like, "Don't talk," kind of thing. Like it was very corny.
Here's the thing with a character like Darby, right? Because people are like, "Oh, I can't believe the people that are like, oh my God, Jon Moxley is now wrestling Dean Ambrose." I'm like, no. We were there for the low points of gas mask Dean Ambrose.
Yes, we saw the
we're not going that far. And Jon Moxley's ruined far worse than Darby Allin is in AEW, but that's another story for another day. I don't mind Darby Allin and all of his like artsy ways and all like the black and white videos that he does, especially in like the early days of AEW. I think that's cool because it kind of exists in its own place, right? There's a place in wrestling for that, and it belongs in that place. When you go on to an interview show and try to bring that place into a regular place, it doesn't work. That's why the glass of water thing just made him look like a kid looking for attention. But what I will say is his general comments about like why AEW is doing so good right now is because the cancer is gone. And when he talked about the cancer, he made three very specific things. He made comments about people not wanting to lose. He made comments about, hey, it's like these guys think this wrestling is real. And he says, if you want it to be real, go back to UFC.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm not one to police somebody else's speech. I'm very against censorship and whatever. The whole idea of I want to say something's bad, so I say it's cancer is gonna make me not listen to you.
Yeah, no doubt.
Because it's as offensive as it is played out as a reference. Like it's shitty and it's lame. On both sides of the scale.
Yes.
Now, you want to talk about people taking shit too seriously. Okay, that could be, people that don't take this shit seriously. So basically, all the cancer is gone now. So clearly he's talking about all the people that just went back to WWE. So none of those people were taking it seriously in AEW.
Ariel thought he meant Punk as well. He was trying to push it out of him.
Well, here I'm getting there.
Yeah.
People who don't want to lose. Now, that's funny because they still have FTR and they still have the Hurt Syndicate. Pause. But also, it was the big, huge thing that people circulated around Malachi Black when he was getting ready to leave. It's like, okay, he's getting ready to leave, so we have to call him a traitor. Let's, kick up a particular narrative about him. And we've already mentioned Aleister Black today, but I'm going to say it again. Oh, he's such a prima donna. He doesn't want to lose, da-da-da-da. Once again, I will say, somebody not wanting to lose is only a problem if you also don't want to lose.
Yeah. Who are you booking them against? Jobbers? Well, guess what? They're going to lose and not have a problem about it.
Exactly. But here's the thing. So if you're a wrestler and you're complaining about the guy across from you not wanting to lose, the only reason you would complain about that is because you don't want to lose either. So best case scenario, you're a shitty hypocrite.
Yep.
Worst case scenario, you're trying to politic, right?
Exactly.
Now, the other half of it, where it's just like, oh, if you don't like it here, or if you want it to be real, or if you want it to be this, that, and the next thing, and if you can't wrap your head around the fact that it's fake, why don't you just go back to UFC? I'm sorry, we're not idiots. That's a dig at Punk.
Yeah, no shit.
That's pretty shit.
That's what
which is pretty shit considering, like, not only I don't care who you are, I don't care whose side you are on with the CM Punk AEW thing. People have dug their heels in on both sides. I get it. There's not a single person that can say that the best thing that ever happened to that company was them being able to say they brought CM Punk back to wrestling.
Absolutely. And they try to take claim for that all the time.
But here's
maybe they did facilitate that, but he was going to come back eventually with or without them, is my thought.
It's fair, yeah. You know what it is? I think he had to go back. He had to go somewhere else to shake off the, all right, maybe WWE is not so bad. Look at this shit. But like, taking that aside, making it not a tribal thing for a second, the biggest thing that they could ever promised was that they were going to walk into Chicago for that second ever episode of Rampage, the first dance, and we were going to present the return to wrestling of CM Punk.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody was, I don't care how much you like or don't like AEW, everybody was watching that. Because it wasn't about being an AEW fan at that point, it was about being a Punk fan.
See,
and
like
in that moment,
moment,
he got to choose his first opponent. And he handpicked Darby Allin.
Yeah.
So
I was going to say, he got to go ahead and give this kid a bigger career.
Sit down and don't be shit.
That led to Sting fully getting involved with Darby. It was supposed to be a one-off match, but they saw how well he got resonated with people for the Punk match, and they're like, oh, we're going to put them together and see what happens. So without Punk, he doesn't get the tag title run with fucking Sting.
Exactly.
Come on, fuck off.
Exactly, and all the people right now that are like, oh, WWE depends so highly on nostalgia. You're the ones that tuned in for an entire pay-per-view that was based around the last match of Sting.
Exactly. Ridiculous.
Just putting it out there. And what did he do on his last night? He won a title on his last night.
Yep. No, didn't they already had the titles? They got it from Ricky and from
that's true.
Big Bill. And then they successfully defended them, and then they relinquished them after they
see guys, this is why I need a co-host. This is why I need a co-host.
Remember Darby went through that plate of glass and it went into people's eyes in the front row?
And then they did that weird cinematic match in the warehouse.
Yeah,
I work in a warehouse. That's not what warehouses look like.
No, and that's not
that's why I love
look like either.
Anytime, well, facts. anytime in wrestling,
I'd break you yet.
anytime in wrestling, hey, you just snuck up on me a little bit. It's fine. Anytime in wrestling, there's a forklift. I'm like, that's not how you forklift.
Nope.
I'm just saying.
You gotta be like a loud ninja with a machine gun.
But I'm just like, I don't want to say don't take digs.
No.
Right? Because I take digs, right? But if you're going to take digs, take them. Don't do this veiled, like, oh, well, you know, I don't want to say too much, but, you know, some people, they don't really like to take a loss.
Backseat taking, no true opinion having, no balls using, female clothes wearing, son of a get bitch.
Biatch.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, I don't know. If they want something real, why don't they try UFC? Oh my God, he said the thing.
Dun dun dun.
What are we doing?
Like Darby whipping out the flag this week to like lay in front of Moxley. Like, I climbed Everest. So that means you could beat him in a fight. Like, I guess that could be like tenacity, but the way they did this, having him return and rappel down at All In, and then the way they had the match at All Out and everything else.
And he's like, oh, after I got back from Everest and I put the AEW flag up there, I had to hang it up in my room. What? So that Tony can jerk you off?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what are we doing?
What are you doing here? Like, you put a flag on the mountain. That's great. I understand what it signifies. Top of the world, fucking awesome. Yeah. But to put it in the ring like that when they
why wouldn't you go to the top of that
to death?
Nobody. Okay. Least of all me. Nobody's going to take away the accomplishment of climbing fucking Mount Everest. Right?
No, certainly not.
But if you
doesn't tie with wrestling.
But if you, well, never mind that. If you're climbing Mount Everest, why wouldn't you plant like a fucking Darby Allin flag there?
Yeah, that also says
I'm
AEW.
Well, fine, fair enough, but like, just oh, he's gargling and it's bad. And
he
like
did
I
that
say,
because he had to, because they sponsored his trip, from what I read.
Okay, that's a little bit more fair. I didn't know
allegedly,
that part,
we'll say right here on Spaz Phoenix channel. Allegedly.
Supposedly, allegedly.
Now we're safe.
But it's just it goes back to the TNA thing. Like if somebody I don't like fails, when AEW closes its doors, and it will, let's be real. Like
yeah,
I get up in the morning and everything's great. Put a little bit of cocaine on my cereal, but everybody does that. It's fine. But like,
that's why they call it Frosted Flakes.
Oh my God, he's a frosted flake. But anyways, moving swiftly on. AEW is going to fall down one day, and I am going to laugh, right? But it sucks when it's something you like. Going back to the Bound for Glory conversation we were having, right? I'm watching Bound for Glory, and I'm like, TNA, I want to love you, but shut up a little bit. And it's the personal encapsulation of it with Darby. It's like, you've clearly drank the Kool-Aid. That's fine. It's what you feel like you need to do at the moment. But Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah, we want them to not Darby this up. We want them to not AEW it up. And that's when they become insecure and they're not confident in the product they're delivering. So they try and up things. And when they up the ante, they fuck it up.
And you want to know how I know it's not working? I'm going to leave you with this before I get you to tell everybody where to find you. Bound for Glory broke all kinds of records, broke their in-house North American attendance record, and broke an attendance record for the Songus Center as well.
And super quick, they're going ahead and they're following it up without actually having a live show. They're just going to have the team in studio while they cover what happened at Bound for Glory. Terrible for them not to have a live show this week. Are you dumb?
Yes, but if they were going to have a live show this week, I would want it to be a live show, whereas they do some taped and some live. And I don't think because I don't know where their travel is next, but it's far from.
I thought they were going to the Performance Center. I thought they were making a residence there for a couple weeks, for the next few weeks.
That's for the next pay-per-view and onward.
Okay, so
yeah, you're talking about Full Sail.
Yes,
Full Sail. Yeah, they're
Full
doing
Sail
a
Performance, whatever. Yeah, they're but I thought they were also in the Performance Center too.
Well, they were. That was Showdown.
No. I mean, like for future.
I'm taking the piss. I haven't heard that. I mean, they can. Like WWE has all their music anyway. But no, my point being, Bound for Glory, 7,700, 7,794 people reported attendance, right? So call it close to 8,000, right? This is TNA. This is the charity company. This is the company that is limping along with WWE's help. They'll never be the number 2 going up against Wrestle Dream, which is happening this weekend, which at last check, which is about 8 a.m. this morning, only has about 5,000 seats sold.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if TNA sucks that bad and you're under them, by about 2,200 tickets, it's not a good look.
No, not at all.
Not a good look.
So for what we know for the future at this point, it's not a ton of stuff, I guess, but I know we got Resolution coming in El Paso, Texas, and then Full Sail is Turning Point, like you said, November 13th. Past that, before that, up until there, I'm not sure, because November
they're already advertising Genesis for next January. I forget where
November
it is,
14th, Friday is that Turning Point show. I'm not sure about the rest of it.
The Friday show's got to go.
Yeah,
Friday show's got to go.
So
because it's got that. We talked about it before, but it does have that. It's a B pay-per-view if they throw it on a Friday.
Yes, and we've seen how that works out for AAA and whatnot as well. So,
hey, AAA is fun though. AAA is just like another thing existing within WWE now. They don't, as much as I would love to see them get a huge audience, they don't need to, because they're now they're actually part of the WWE system, the way people accuse TNA of being.
Yeah, here's the perplexing thing. They have no scheduled impacts at all until they go to Full Sail on November 13th.
Oh.
Then we have Turning Point, Impact, Final Resolution, Impact, and Impact, all both at Full Sail and the El Paso County Coliseum in Texas, El Paso. So I'm very confused about the future schedules. If they're just going to do all like tape shows or what, I don't know, but it is a bit perplexing and makes me wonder what the hell they're doing.
I wonder if they did tape some shows after Bound for Glory and they're just pushing them out a week because they know they need to fill that gap.
Could be. I mean,
because you can only have so many shows in the can at once. I think they go like maybe 3 weeks of taping.
Yeah.
Because that's roughly about where you get your next pay-per-view. If you think about it as being like once a month,
yeah, then you're
it's every 3 to 4 weeks you've got a pay-per-view and then go back the next day to tape some stuff, right?
Exactly.
So maybe they just didn't have enough, or maybe they planned to not have enough, and then they had to do a filler week. It's not ideal. I'm not pushing back on what you said. It's not ideal. You want to come up with some action to follow up on Bound for Glory, but I can't remember the last time they've had to do stuff like this. I mean, NXT usually does like a highlight reel show as we get into like the Christmas season. It's not totally unheard of. Not ideal. I'm probably not going to go back and check it out because whatever they're showing videos of, we watched.
Yeah.
So
no doubt about it. So
I don't know. Coming out of that, shout out to the Dudleys for a very, very cool retirement moment with the Hardys there. That was nice. Shout out to Santana for the title win. Kalani Jordan keeping the Knockouts title was a bit of a surprise. Interesting to see what they do with that. But lots and lots and lots of stuff to talk about. And I'm sure we made all kinds of friends this evening. And it is way past when I plan to be done recording this.
No doubt about it. So
tell them where to find you, buddy.
You can go ahead and find me over on the YouTubes at youtube.com/Jake.DeMarco or just Jake DeMarco or Jake Countdown Ended. You can find us on all of those at Countdown Ended on Twitter/X, on Instagram, and on Rumble. You can find us on TikTok. That's right. It's Jake.Countdown Ended. And anywhere you can search for podcasts, look us up. #into somewhere.
Boom. And you guys know where to find me, or you wouldn't be here. I've been Spaz. This has been Jake. This has been a very extended episode of The State of Wrestling because we had a lot of people to piss off this week. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I will talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I am tagging out. Bye, guys.
Wrestle Tree.